Welcome to another edition of Gwunspoken, where we discuss stuff we don't typically talk about, but probably should. Do you know there's about 30 minutes of movement a day can actually reduce your risk of depression by 30%? It actually increases your energy levels by about 20% too. That's a true fact. True fact, true stat. So the trouble is, if we face it ourselves, life is busy. Movement often gets like another chore, and it's a never-ending to-do list. And usually by the end of our day, we're like, I'm done, I'm cooked. And the thing that usually suffers is our exercise. So today in the episode, I'm here to show you why movement is essential and how to shift your mindset to make it a part of your life in a way that feels good and not necessarily forced. Because I think that's what the major thing is. We've got to try and change our mindset. And movement isn't just about staying fit. It's about unlocking a whole range of benefits, from reducing stress by getting rid of that cortisol to improving your focus and creativity. And in a world now where sitting is just the norm, reclaiming movement is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your health and happiness. We see it all the time. We see people sitting down around lunch times. We see kids at school sitting on their laptops. It's sedentary behaviour has become the new norm of we're too lazy to get up and move, because things that interest us, things that give us dopamine, allow us to sit down for prolonged periods of time, and that has no benefit on our health at all. So, look, we've all been there. How many times have you been after work and you've been too busy with family, or feeling like, movement requires just that extra time and energy, and that's the stuff we don't have at the end of the day. And meanwhile, our bodies pay the price. Lack of movement is linked to increased anxiety, as I said, sleep issues, and in our last episode, we even talked about brain fog, how it affects that. And the more we sit, the harder it is to become physically and mentally happy. I mean, we just can't do it. We just actually feel flat. And the problem is that our brains, our minds and bodies, they're actually designed to move. And without it, we lose more than strength and fitness. We lose clarity. We get that fogginess again. We don't have that emotional resilience. And also we lose that joy in our life. You just think about it. When was the last time you felt truly alive in your body? If you can't remember, then this episode is definitely for you. So what's the solution? And we know we always talk about, we just have to move. We just have to make ourselves move. But what happens with that? I'll tell you what happens with that right now. We tell ourselves, let's just move, and we don't. And our brain always looks for either daydreams, because they say 30% of our day we're actually daydreaming because of a survival mechanism to conserve energy. But our brain also tells us it's too hard. We know physically we can do more than our brain actually says we can, or makes us feel like we can. So what happens? We go, I'm going to train tomorrow. Yep, I've had enough, I'm training tomorrow. And when we don't, what happens? We start bagging ourselves. And okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow we know never comes. Okay, I'll do it the next day. And if we fail it again, our self-esteem goes down because we feel bad. We feel like a loser because we haven't actually gone through on our promise that we're going to do to ourselves. And that can actually have a negative spiral effect. Or you might have been there before. Have you done this before, where you've actually trained really hard and said, that's it, and you felt really good for training hard, and you go, why haven't I done this all the time? Because it does feel good. And then what happens? You're either sore or you're flat, or your brain goes, do not go through that again because that was like hell. And you might wait 4 or 5 days before you train again, and you go through the same cyclic habit. So look, what are some benefits of movement? There's heaps. I think I've printed off once before in a parent workshop. There's like 50 benefits of exercise, but here's 5 real quick ones. One, we talked about last time on the podcast, mental clarity. Movement boosts blood flow to the brain, improving focus, memory, and creativity. Really important. That's number one. Mental clarity is so important, no matter where you're a child or a teen going to school or university, or you're a parent or you're an adult in your daily work, what it might be, a work environment, even your relationships, it's important. Number 2, stress relief. Physical activity helps lower cortisol levels. We talked about that before. Our cortisol levels are highest in the morning. So it actually reduces the feeling of being overwhelmed and anxious. So if you're having a bad day, often the first thing we'll do is we'll go home and go, no, feed up, big feed. If you're an adult, maybe you're looking for the drinks fridge. It doesn't help. It actually reduces stress by moving. But again, the problem is if you're listening to me now, you might be thinking, that's all well and good, I don't feel like moving. All right? Logically, yes, but we are all emotional creatures. We do things based on our feelings. How can we change that? 3, better sleep. Obviously, if we move during the day, it helps regulate your circadian rhythm and makes it easier to fall asleep and wake up feeling refreshed. I know getting up now at 4:30 in the morning and doing some extra work on the business, I love it nice and quiet, have that nice strong coffee and a water to get going in the morning. And by 10 o'clock, I am cooked. I'm dusted. I'm ready for a sleep. But after I do my work in the morning, it's a 20-minute jog with the dogs. And I know that just the dogs make me feel accountable because I feel bad for my full account. I see both my cattle dogs going, you know, if you can see the look in their eyes, I want to run. And if I let them down, I'll let not only them down but myself. So yeah, better sleep's important. How about increased energy? How about movement enhances, you know, the function of your mitochondria, the stuff in between your muscles. And that powers your body cells. It leaves you feeling more energized. It's crazy. I'm telling the kids at the moment in our life skills class, the more you move the energy, the better energy you have. You actually have more energy throughout the day. And here's a little secret for you people out there listening to this. People are attracted to energy. So if you don't want to do it for yourself, move so other people can see the best of you. Have energy. People are looking for energy. There's so many people in our society now, we're so flat. You know, we talk about things we don't typically talk about but probably should in this podcast. That's a big one. There's so many people who are flat. I've got another one for you. I'm going off topic here a bit tonight. How's this one for you, all you adults out there? When you give your best during the day at your work or in your social life, when you come home, and if you come home to a partner, spouse, husband, wife, kids, do you give them your best or are you too flogged? Have a think about that. The ones who you love the most, they're the ones who you should be giving the energy to. Oh, Gary, it's okay. I'm actually flogging. It's okay to say that. Really? They deserve the best of you. So think about how you can increase your energy. Is there something you can do at work or, you know, during your day? Can you give you a little bit more energy before you get home? Because the other one I was going to talk about is enhanced mood, because regular movement actually releases those endorphins and that dopamine of getting up and wanting to do more. And it creates a natural happy pill effect. So it actually improves your mood. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for somebody you love. Do it for people around you, people who deserve it. All right, so let's come up with some tricks to change your thinking and get motivated because, again, we are not necessarily logical creatures out there. So number one, reframe movement as self-care. So instead of saying, oh, I have to exercise, oh, I have to get up and exercise, I have to. Try saying this to yourself, I get to move. Yes, movement is a gift, not a punishment. It's time to think as a way to nourish your body, not punish it. You know, I keep telling the kids again at school, your body's like a machine. Okay, so whatever you feed it, however you run it, you know, the more you exercise, the stronger it gets, the better it's going to be, the better it's going to look, the better it's going to function. So it's amazing. I remember, and this is no disrespect to anybody out there, but I remember I was about to play a game of footy. I think I was playing A grade on the Sunny Coast. We're looking back 20 or 30 years now. And I was trying just to not get too nervous for the game, had a big feed, and our game was at 3 o'clock. I think it was about half an hour before I had to leave home. And I was trying to get my mind busy. So I chucked the TV on and I remember seeing, what was it? It was like a documentary about a guy who was in a wheelchair and he'd actually had a spinal injury from football. And of course I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I'm about to play football and this is what's happened to this poor fella. And he said, you know what? He's getting interviewed. I absolutely hate running. I hate it. I used to hate running. And he said, but what I would do now, I would do anything right now if I could just run. And it just changed my mindset. It just blew my brain. Next time we whinge and complain about having to exercise or not wanting to exercise, hey, we can exercise. So maybe reframing your movement as self-care could be number one. How about number two, break it into bite-sized chunks. I talked about earlier how sometimes we overdo it when we try and get back into it. So you don't need to go for an hour-long workout to feel the benefits. You don't have to go for an hour gym. You don't have to go for an hour swim, an hour ride. Start with 5 minutes. Celebrate the win. Don't have junk food and a beer, but have a celebrate. Feel good about yourself because you will. I guarantee the endorphins will come through your body. You'll feel amazing. Have a nice shower and have a good feed and reward the win. How about you stack it with something you love? Here's number three. Pair movement with something enjoyable. So maybe listen to your favourite podcast. Hey, maybe this is it. Maybe gwunspoken is your favourite. Walk with a friend. Dance to a song that lifts your mood. Dance around the kitchen. Get your endorphins going. You know, be silly. I love being silly. I don't know if I'm that professional in my teaching because I'd probably be too silly in front of the kids, but it engages them. It engages them. It makes me feel good too. All right, we do Just Dance with the kids every now and then. We chuck it on and do something silly. Every third day, I'll walk the dog rather than run the dog. So getting outside, making it a little bit less intense. Mum goes to the beach. You know, Mum's in her 70s now, but she's got a commitment to a friend now where she says, we're going to go on this certain day. And then she gets up at 4:30 in the morning, meets her at 5 o'clock at Mooloolaba Beach, wherever it is, and they go for a walk. All right? Plan it with friends. Have some accountability. Maybe that's it. There's different ways you can actually have fun. So stack it with something you love. Maybe create a movement mantra, number 4. Something like every step I take is a step forward to feeling good. Repeating that can actually shift your mindset and keep you motivated. We talk about when we first learn to walk or we jog, and we say, just next to the next light bulb. We'll stop at the next light bulb, and you get that light bulb and you push yourself, let's go to the next one. Or let's do 2 light bulbs and then walk the next one. And you might push yourself and get to 3, and you just feel like a winner because you've changed your mindset again. All right, how about number 5, gamify it. So set small goals like I'm going to hit 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to hit it and I'm going to use my smartwatch on my phone and I'm going to get 10,000 in. Or why don't you do 3 minutes of stretching while you're waiting for a coffee to brew? No one will think you're stupid, I'm sure, but your kids in the background might go, what the hell are you doing? But, celebrate those little milestones. Keep the momentum going. It's so important. We bag ourselves so much on things we don't do. How about you celebrate the things when you do it, even if it's so small? I remember the time when I felt stuck, both physically and emotionally. And it was when I used to train when I was younger, like 4 kids, 3 times a day. And maybe having kids was my excuse. I know. Maybe it's just an excuse. But, run in the morning and then we'd get a group of mates and 2 or 3 times a week we'd swim 2Ks and then we'd do some boxing in the afternoon training. Or we call it the Young Guns Cowboys program, running program. Every other day instead of swimming we'd do gym and the energy was just ridiculously high. It was huge. And as you get old, obviously it's a bit harder to do that. But I remember I felt flat, and it was probably a few years ago after we built the house, and it's probably because I overcooked myself by building the deck, and it was tough building these deep holes through the clay where we were living. And it was like my thermostat was gone, and it was so hard to get motivated to get into it. And I felt frustrated. I think I was probably more angry to live with at the time. If I asked my wife that, she'd probably agree with that. So I just started small after that. I just got myself in the gym and put a good podcast on, and every now and then I put some really good music I loved. And I just start off slow and I just get through. I'm going to do 20 minutes to slow, just 20 minutes without, and that's hard for me because I'm competitive. I love going hard. 10 or 20 minutes, that's it. And I remember getting out there and feeling good, having a nice cold protein shake. I come and have a cold shower, and just by then the endorphins start going through your body. Go, oh my gosh, I actually feel amazing again. And I'd make myself rest the next day, but then I'd turn up again. And it was only 20 or 30 minute sessions. And, that small habit snowballed. And I started feeling lighter, more present, more optimistic about everything in my life. It all came back. It wasn't just a physical change. It was a mental shift too. So, what can this podcast is about you. That's an analogy. That's what happened to me. But what can you do to change things around for yourself if you need to? Can you start small? Here's some like, I suppose, calls to actions. Can you start small? Can you commit to just 5 minutes of intentional movement today? And even if it's a little tiny bit, it'll make a difference. Even your mental clarity will make a difference. You'll feel like a winner. How about schedule it like an appointment? Like block out time in your day and treat it as a non-negotiable. Not, if I get time, I'll do this. Or, I'll do it this afternoon. No, I actually don't feel it. Treat it like a meeting. Treat it like you can't let yourself or anyone else around you down, and it's locked in and you're definitely going non-negotiable. Just do it. Just make yourself, it's a non-negotiable. You're not going to give up on yourself. Number 3, how about you get curious? So how about you experiment with different types of movement? Can you do some yoga? Can you do some dancing? Or, grab yourself a hula hoop from somewhere, walk. Find something that actually makes you smile and laugh. I tried a yoga class one day. I couldn't stop sweating, and I was the most least flexible person in that whole room. I think I gave up a Friday night footy to do it too, and I was by myself. I don't know what I was thinking, but I actually walked out there going, I am so inflexible, and I sweated puddles there. It was disgusting. It was embarrassing. But I ended up smiling, going, I wonder how many other people are getting their comfort zone doing that tonight. And it was just sort of a little win for my ego at the time. So look, here's for your journal. Here's some ideas for your journal. What if you could wake up with more energy, handle stress with ease, and end your day feeling accomplished? That feeling of going, I actually feel good about myself. You know what? That is the power of movement. It just doesn't transform your body. It can actually transform your life. It is the number one thing Tony Robbins keeps talking about that can improve your mindset. It is movement. So here's your journal prompts. Here's 3 things I'd like to challenge you with your journal. Number 1, what are 3 types of movement that make you feel joyful or excited? What are they? Write them down and commit to trying at least one this week. If you haven't done much exercise, maybe one this week. Number 2, what's one small barrier that sort of stopped you from moving more? What is it? How can you work around it or change your approach to it? How can you change your mindset? Write it down. When you write down your barrier and you look at it on the paper, you might actually go, you know what? This is garbage. I can actually beat that. This is unspoken. This is, I am better than this. What can you do? And number 3, reflect on a time when you moved your body and it felt amazing. Because you would have done it throughout your life. You would have done that movement. And how can you recreate that feeling in your daily life? How can you do it? Because if you can change your feelings, your body will then start physically moving. And then the spiral effect from that, the compound effect of that, if you keep doing that, your brain set, your mindset, you're going to feel a different person. And the benefits of that is not only for yourself, but for the people you interact with and who are around you. Look, again, I want to thank you for tuning into another episode of GW Unspoken, where we have the conversations that really do matter. And you know what? If this episode sparks something in you, please share it with a friend or family member who could maybe use a little more movement in their life. And remember, every step forward is progress. And look, I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the power of movement with holistic health. And I think we'll talk about next time about people who maybe are overtraining and how we can support them. But thank you for joining us on another edition of GW Unspoken.